The NIHR, or National Institute of Health Research, is the overriding body which is running clinical research from the government in this country. There's lots of clinical research going on, but the NIHR coordinates that. And within that is the Diabetes Research Network, which is one of several networks which are topic specific. In other words, they cover different areas of disease. And diabetes, of course, in the UK at the moment is very important, as indeed it is in the whole world. And so there's a special network set up to try and coordinate what goes on in trials in diabetes. And that's what the network does. It tries to help with academic trials, with pharmaceutical trials, and it tries to help from recruiting people into trials, but it also tries to help with people becoming involved in trials. In other words, part of what you want in clinical trials is to say, can we get the public involved? It's very important in running trials to get the patients and the public involved, and you need to do that for a variety of reasons. One is you don't want to have a lot of academics saying this is what we want to do without having the involvement of the public back to saying actually these are the sort of questions that we would like answered. And you know that the government is talking about no decision about me without me. It's true both in clinical medicine and it's true in trials as well. So what you're trying to do with involving the public is to say, can the public get involved in design of trials and in deciding what sort of trials one should do, get involved at that level, but also get involved at the level of actually talking to other people about trials and how entertaining and interesting they are to be part of. All the people that we have in trials find that in general they really enjoy partaking in a trial. The sort of trials that you do is comparing one tablet with another or one tablet with a dummy tablet. And we only do trials in occasions where there's a balance, where you're not quite sure what the outcome is. So most of the trials are looking at differences to say, is one better than another in certain groups of patients? The trials are enjoyable because you get to see professionals on a consistent basis. You always see the same nurse. They're enjoyable from the point of view of the fact that you actually start to understand more about disease process. So the people who come into diabetes trials suddenly start to understand a lot more about what diabetes is about. So involving the public is absolutely crucial. We're trying to recruit the public into saying, will you partake in these trials? And some of the trials are very simple. They might just be a questionnaire. Other trials are more complicated. They might say, will you take these tablets for 6 months? And another group of people, will you take those tablets? And other trials which are much more detailed, saying, well, would you give us a morning of your time to come in and we might anaesthetise your arm and take a few blood samples. So that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to get people engaged with diabetes. And considering in this country that more than 7% of the entire population have got diabetes now, it's very important that we know the best way of treating those patients. So the Diabetes Research Network offers a range of services. The most important probably is to say that they try and engage with pharmaceutical companies to say, we will try and find you recruits for your trials. And in doing that involve the public and try and help with the process. Now actually the process at the moment is not as good as it should be, and in fact there are huge delays in getting ethical approval, followed by big delays in getting various trusts around the country to agree to the research. And the reasons for that are complex, but they cover all sorts of things about risks and so on that trusts look at. And so they've got lots of lawyers. And if you keep on going through lawyers after lawyers, you end up with too long a delay in getting the trial started. So one of the things that's happening with diabetes research networks, and indeed with the other networks, is to try and improve the speed at which we can get trials underway. And secondly, the research networks are trying to say, actually, wouldn't it help if all around the country we could find the sort of patients that you think are ideal for your trial? In other words, you might want patients who are on one drug alone to start with, or you might want patients who are on insulin, you might want patients who have had diabetes for a long time, or you might want patients who've had diabetes for a short time. You're trying to optimize that, and the best way to recruit into those sort of trials is to have a network. In other words, not try and find everybody in London or Oxford or Leeds or wherever. You try and say, all around the country we can find the right sort of patients. And so it's trying to develop that. It's trying to bring local research networks up to say we can have dedicated nurses in a large number of areas around the country who go around and find these patients, talk to the GPs, talk to the patients, say, gosh, you're just the sort of patient we need, would you be interested in being part of a trial? And the great thing about this is that we are now trying to encourage more and more people to get involved with this, because the way to improve the health of the country is not to have, as it were, a national health service where you say, oh, it's my right to be treated by a health service and that's all I'm interested in. We also want to have a society where it's my responsibility to help the health service in saying what's the best drug. And the best way of doing that is to find myself as part of a trial to say, is X better than Y? Is X plus Y better than A plus B in treating what I've got? And finding those answers is crucial, because then you come out with better treatments, you come out with treatments which have less side effects and so on. And all of those things are monitored within the trials. What is really vital is that we involve the public and patients in getting trials running in this country. The pharmaceuticals companies are interested in that, the academics are interested in doing that. And as we move forward, we can get better treatments with proper evidence that they work. We can improve the care for patients. We can improve the outlook for people with diabetes in this country. And that's what the networks are about. They are about trying to pull all of that together, to pull the people who are interested in doing the research to the patients that they need for the research, and involve the public in the research, in the design and the management of all of that process.